Hello and welcome to the Discover History YouTube channel. Today I want to share with you a little project I undertook and completed during the first lockdown this year. I'm a big fan of tabletop wargaming and have a couple of small Napoleonic armies, 10mm figures, but I have no terrain or buildings to go with them. So early in the year I bought a farmhouse, a resin farmhouse to build, and this is it. It's a typical Belgian enclosed farmhouse, and I painted it up as such. Sort of lime washed walls, central courtyard, very typical of the Belgian area, in Belgium obviously. So typical large barn, farmhouse, stable block. I put some variation on this, and I've seen both examples in Belgium, and that's the roofs, where they've either got like sandstone pan tiles, clay pan tiles on, or grey slate. So I've added a bit of variety to this and put mainly the pan tile ones on, and then this has always been re-roofed and it's got grey slate on. So yeah, there it is. It's a typical Belgian enclosed farmhouse. Now, the astute of you, or anything that know anything about the Battle of Waterloo, might recognise this in some way, but this is a representation of Papelotte Farm, one of the lesser known farms on the Waterloo battlefield. I'd say it's a representation. The farm was damaged during the battle, and then during the 19th and 20th century it has been considerably remodelled. It looks a little bit different to this now. There is a large tower here. This farmhouse here is about 3 stories now, and today it's still on the battlefield, and it's a pony riding club that use the farm. I say it's one of the lesser known farms on the Waterloo battlefield. It's nowhere near as well known as Hougoumont or La Haye-Sainte, and there are a few reasons for this. One is it never saw the massive actions that the other two fought. It never saw the massive attacks against it like Hougoumont did. It was fought over all day, never taken. The guards were in there, very important farm on the right flank of Napoleon's line, of Wellington's line. La Haye-Sainte, of course, was sat in the middle of the battlefield, and that suffered a lot of attacks during the day and was finally taken. It was an important post that Napoleon needed to take so he could attack the British line. But nonetheless, Papelotte was a very important post for Wellington. It stood on the left flank of his line, on the extreme left flank. Like Hougoumont, it's about 600 yards forward of his main line. And if I just get my little book out here and put that down a second, it's not just Papelotte Farm. If we can see, or you can see that map there, there is Papelotte Farm there. That's the north is to the bottom, south there. So that's the French attack there. You've got Papelotte Farm and La Haye. You've also got Frischemont Chateau there. And then there's a small hamlet called Smerhain here. Now this is right on Wellington's left flank. Important for 2 reasons. One, it protected his left flank, obviously. The other reason is that this was the direction that the Prussians were going to arrive from Wavre, to reach Waterloo battlefield. They were going to come from that eastern side. So it basically stopped the French going around Wellington's left flank, but it also left that place open so the Prussians could arrive as well, because that's where they were going to arrive. It's different in many ways also to the rest of the Waterloo battlefield, where this is positioned, where this farm is positioned. It's on a bit of high ground, but it's forward of the main slope. And unlike the rest of Waterloo, where you've got Hougoumont, you've got La Haye-Sainte, you've got a massive open space between, and then you've got La Haye-Sainte, and then you've got Papelotte with a massive open space between, where you could have cavalry attack, infantry attack. In front of Papelotte, the ground was like nothing else at Waterloo. There was a big defile, it's in a valley, it's got sunken lanes, steep banks, thick hedges on top. It's not your classic open battlefield. And so for that reason, it wasn't attacked in the same way as the main ridge was, by massive formations of infantry or massive formations of cavalry. It was good infantry ground for defence, But trying to get into it, you couldn't really send proper formations in, massive columns in. It was more actions with skirmishers, making their way from hedge to hedge, fight their way down sunken lanes, down slopes, back up slopes. So it didn't see the fighting that the Haisson, Hougoumont and the main ridge did. It was attacked twice during the day, once during the main infantry attack by de Erlon's forces, and when that was destroyed by the infantry and then the British cavalry, of course the French had to retreat back, skedaddle back. When the next massive wave came through towards the end of the day, when the Old Guard attacked, but basically the French pushed the whole line forward, it was attacked again, and the French managed to fight their way up. And some accounts say that Papelotte was taken, some say it wasn't taken, and there was a friendly fire incident here as well. When the Prussians arrived, the troops they saw in that area, they thought were French and attacked them. That was soon realised their mistake, and then they carried on and attacked the flank of the French forces. One of the other reasons why it's not so well known as well, especially when I was growing up in the 1960s, 1970s, and Waterloo was seen as a massive British victory, lots of redcoats on the battlefield, it's a British victory. This area, Papelotte, Le Hay, Smohain and Fishermont, Wellington wasn't involved with. He posted the troops there. There were no British troops in this little area of the battlefield. They were Germans, Nassau troops, Saxe Wehrmacht's troops. So they were basically troops, again, that had fought for France prior to 1814. And you might have heard the word Nassau troops before, because when I did my talk on my video on Hougoumont, Nassau troops were there. When I did my video on Le Haisson, the Nassau troops were there. These were Germans, and they were dressed in green with black shakos. They basically looked very French, but were in green, which is why you got this. When the Prussians arrived, they basically thought these are Frenchmen, attacked them for a bit, realised mistake, and then stopped. So yeah, it's not well known because it didn't see the massive actions. There were no British troops involved in the actions here, and because it was such difficult terrain, it didn't see the mass attacks that the rest of the British battle line did. So, interesting little battle. I find it one of the most interesting parts of Waterloo because it is so unusual, because it's like nothing else on the Waterloo battlefield. And if you ever go to Waterloo, I really hardly suggest you go. It's still there, of course. Like I say, it's a pony club now. We didn't go down to the hamlet, but you can just see by standing at Papelotte, it's a very difficult terrain to get through. So that's it. That's my little video. That's the little model I did for my war games. I'm quite happy with it. So yeah, that's my video for today. A little bit about Waterloo as well. Not like I've done my other videos, but a fascinating part of that major battle in itself. Okay, so if you like that video, please give us a like and subscribe. Keep an eye out for our other videos coming up, and we'll see you soon. Bye.